All right, let's talk about the $40 million man himself, Daniel Jones. Things that just did not go very well for the Giants here in week one. And so I wanted to make a film study breaking down exactly what went wrong. Because, I've been someone who's kind of half defended Daniel Jones, I feel like, these past couple of years. I was very critical of the contract when it happened. But since then, I've kind of felt like maybe some of the criticism has gone a bit too far. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's great. I just don't think that he's like, the worst quarterback in football. Well, he might have played like the worst quarterback in football in week one here. And let's talk about the many things that went wrong here. Starting off with the play you see on your screen. It's going to be a zone blitz for the Vikings. And, what Minnesota likes to do is they like to mix and match, do a lot of different coverages constantly, try and fool opposing quarterbacks. But the Giants are going to have a receiver run this route over the middle, which can hopefully clear out kind of that area as they're going to have a player in motion who's going to swing over and get into a gap in coverage. Despite the fact that Minnesota likes to keep opposing quarterbacks on their toes, on a play like this actually could work for the Giants. This is a favorable situation. However, when Jones takes the snap, you're going to see that there's a difference between a play working on paper or in practice. A Minnesota linebacker here doing a really good job at stepping in front of this play, really well-defended play right here by Daniel Jones. But the issue for Jones is the ball's already out. He really didn't look at all. He kind of just threw it right there. You got to pay attention to the linebacker covering the middle of the field on this play. In fact, the whole point of this play is to get that linebacker out of position, to play action. That's just someone you have to be aware of, and Jones just wasn't here. Because of that, Jones throws what easily could have been an interception. Really good defensive play, but I guess my point is the good defensive play happened before Jones threw the football, and he didn't notice, and that's kind of why I think it was a bad play by Daniel Jones. And to be honest, there were just a lot of bad plays. Like usually, when a quarterback has really bad numbers, most of the time it's a team stat. But here, there were opportunities. I'm going to start off with this one, which is a 3rd and 15 situation, but you're in position to try a long field goal from here, a 57-yarder. If you can gain 5 to 10 yards, puts you in a lot better position. However, instead, you're going to see Jones takes the snap, and he's just going to miss this one wide. Then we have this one. It's a 2nd down and 5. Jones runs a play action, and you're going to see him underthrow that one and throw it a bit behind. A 3rd and 14 here, you're going to see a similar thing where he underthrows a ball, and then this one, which results in an incompletion as well, could have had a first down there, 1st down and goal, had Jones hit that one. That one, I think, was actually a timing thing, not a just an accurate throw, I think. Again, always impossible to tell. I'm not in the huddle. But even if it was the receiver's fault and not Jones's fault, okay, that's the example. That's an excuse for one. What about the other ones? It's not very good stuff here. The interceptions were interesting. So he had 2 interceptions in this game. First, we'll go to the first one, which was a pick 6. And it's one of those weird plays where it's going to be a wide receiver screen on this one. But watch Andrew Van Ginkel. Now, Van Ginkel said on this play, he actually had seen this play enough that he was guessing on this one. He knew this play was coming when it was about to come, which usually you blame coaching for, not necessarily the quarterback. Because Jones takes a snap, he has to get rid of that ball quickly. It gets intercepted for a touchdown. That's a fine play by Jones. He has to get rid of that football quickly. He can't look at the edge rusher on that play. He did what he was supposed to do. Obviously, it looks bad for Jones, but I really have no criticisms for him there. That's a bad break. Definitely bad coaching, though. I guess the one thing you could say is maybe he could have noticed something like this was happening. If the defense could notice this was happening and try and pick it up. Try and read that the edge rusher is doing this, but I think that's too much to ask. I really don't blame him much for that one. And even the other one, so it's a 4th down and 8. This was earlier when he missed the throw that would have given them the first down, so that was bad. But here at this point, 4th down and 8, you have a receiver trying to get into a gap in coverage right here, and it's just a 3-man rush because Minnesota knows that it has to be a passing play right here. Let's make the windows a little bit shorter. Why not? So let's see what happens. Jones is going to take the snap, and because of this extra player in coverage, sometimes it's not the worst idea to hang on to the ball a little bit. He doesn't have to throw it, but there is a guy who's right in front of Jones who could run over and make a tackle if Jones decides to run. You see there's a bit of a window. Again, I really don't hate this decision by Jones. I really don't. Try to get the ball there quickly. I think it's not the worst play in the world. The throw doesn't work. I would have liked to see that receiver to get his head turned around significantly earlier. To be honest, I think both of these interceptions are pretty understandable by Daniel Jones. I think it's the other stuff that was an issue. It was the constant misthrows throughout the game that I think was a problem. The interceptions sometimes have a weird way of like working out where you end up, he kind of played poorly enough to deserve a stat line like what he got, but the way he got there wasn't exactly justified. That's kind of how I viewed his game. Now, I do want to talk both positives and negatives. Yes, it was mostly negative, but there were some positive plays too. Something like this. It's a one-on-one matchup right here. You see the route Jones is going to look towards. Jones takes the snap. He is going to look in that direction and fires in that direction. Did kind of stare down the receiver a bit. Didn't love that because now you see a Minnesota player can run over and try and kind of make this play. Number 7 for Minnesota. However, there still is a window. Jones times this one well. Jones throws this one well. They're able to pick up a completion on 3rd and 5. He did have those moments of the kind of classic Daniel Jones being a good game manager type, something he can definitely do. It just was nowhere consistent enough, in my opinion, from what I saw on film. Basically, from my perspective, I think he was bad today. I certainly think he was, not today, but I always say today when I make videos, even if it's after the fact. I think he was bad this week. For sure. I think that's very fair to say. I don't think he's usually this bad. I think this was an exceptional performance for him in a negative way. I do expect some better play from him going forward. I do also think that some of the issues were not his fault, which of course is the case. Like, this wasn't all on him. I thought Minnesota did a really good job. And at the same time, I do think he has to play better. Now, I think an argument people are going to make is, okay, I can sit here and say, well, it wasn't all on him. All I want, he's getting paid like a top quarterback. You're going to have some issues with your team when you're getting paid that much. It's your job to make up for them. I mean, I agree, but Daniel Jones isn't that guy. He was never been that guy, and he shouldn't have been paid like that guy. So, like, well, I get the argument of like, well, he needs to be this good if the Giants are going to be a playoff team. Yeah, but that's not going to happen. He's not going to turn into a $40 million quarterback. They signed him hoping he was going to continue to develop and get better, and if anything, he's gotten worse since then. So it just hasn't happened. So, yeah, I mean, again, I don't think Daniel Jones is the worst quarterback in the league. I think could be a really good backup for a very long amount of time, maybe similar to like Sam Darnold, who had a good game in a good situation. I think that's what Jones needs to be, and it just clearly, probably was a mistake here for the Giants, but yeah, probably not the first one to say that. It was a bad day. It was just a bad day. There's no denying that, in my opinion. But that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, before I go, I should mention I have a movie channel. If you like movies, like watching movies, Jackson Kruger Movies is the name. The link is in the description below. But yeah, again, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Daniel Jones in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.